Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 110 of the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. We're brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything that you need to build your business on or offline, website design, Google Ads, graphic design, printing, we can absolutely help. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram, or you can check out our website, bbdigitalmarketing.com. You can request a free review of your entire online presence right there on the homepage. My name is Milton Campus. I'm a brown belt. I'm a brown belt training out of South Florida. You got Bo behind the camera. Miguel is sick. Had a little toothache. He's got. We're gonna let him rest up. Hopefully, he'll be back next week. No, please.
She's gonna get a root canal.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and click that subscribe button on YouTube. We would really appreciate the support. Joining us today, very cool. We have, I love this now because now that we're in like the 100th, returning guests, yes. Right? Friends of the show. I love that. Joining us today are black belts Kurt Osiander and Yoshi Yamaguchi.
Alumni.
Right? Kurt is the move of the week
alumni.
guy. What's that?
The show alumni.
Yeah, right. So we've got Kurt is the move of the week, and Yoshi is the move of the day guy. So, yeah, he called me. I think he mentions that, right? Like, they call me the move of the day guy now. A few quick shout outs. So shout out to Flow and Roll. Thank you, Sean, for all your support. Check them out on Instagram at flow_n_roll. They've got incredible stuff for sale on their website at flowandroll.com. But check out their Instagram and look at the custom stuff, the custom gi and no gi gear they do for academies throughout the country. I just paid my invoice for the extra stuff we're adding to the pre-order. I just made that payment today, so our Peace Love Jiu-Jitsu rash guard's coming. But, again, check them out, flowandroll.com. You get 20% off with code JJD. But check out their custom stuff and ask them about their pre-order program for academies. It's an amazing program to get everything you need for your gym or your academy with very little out-of-pocket. Okay?
What up, Sean? I'm just doing Miguel's part.
Thank you to the BJJ box for all their support. We should have had a box. I checked the mail. It wasn't there, so we'll probably have it for the next episode. The BJJ box is Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box. It's delivered to your door filled with premium Jiu-Jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. They find the best products in the world of Jiu-Jitsu and guarantee that every box will be worth more than its cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items. T-shirt, again, supplements, snacks. We've gotten beef jerky, power drinks,
all kinds of stuff, yeah.
Sports recovery drinks, things like that.
Stuff, yeah.
I still like my
little
spiky ball. I still have that in the living room. I hit that little guy.
You're like a cat.
Yeah. Everybody thinks it's a cat toy. When they come over, I'm like, no, look, it's this.
Very large cat you have.
Check them out at thebjjbox.com. and get $10 off your first order with code JJD10. Okay? Thank you as well to Neutral Zone Clean. You can check them out at neutralzoneclean.com and at Neutral Zone Clean on Instagram and Facebook. What is Neutral Zone? Neutral Zone Clean is all about being clean on the mats when you're out there training, even in your personal life. I always say I carry a canister of wipes in the car. They just posted that they're testing a solution to clean jiu-jitsu mats or wrestling mats. So they've got really cool stuff coming. Again, what you see on the table here, Bo, if you got a shot of that, right? This big-ass bucket. Yep. This is great for events, just for academies to have. Just put it out, right? The wipe comes out the top, right? The jug that you see next to it, right? You can keep them. You can either use that to keep them wet, or you can use it for the spray, right? They also have a body spray that you can use. I train. I either put it on a towel, spray it on my face, put it on a towel, or just sometimes put it in my hands, rub my face, put it all over myself, just rub it in a little bit, gets rid of the ickies.
Yeah, you don't want staph, MRSA, ringworm, all kinds of shit.
This is what you do if you want to stay clean. I know there's all these arguments. People are like, I'm not going to catch anything.
Yeah,
or,
until
I
you
don't
do.
wash my until you do, right? I don't wash my belt. Right. You can take the spray. You can wash your belt. You don't want to throw your belt in the washing machine. You can spray it down with a little Neutral Zone Clean spray, and at least you're trying to protect yourself. You're doing a better job protecting yourself. Coupon code JJD for 15% off neutralzoneclean.com. Okay?
All right.
Well set. We did that quick. Let's jump in. I'm excited for this one. Let's get them in here, brother.
Alrighty.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome. How you doing?
Awesome, man.
This is great. I'm so happy you reached out to do this. Yep, that's Kurt. Welcome back, Kurt. I'm glad to have both of you
West
back.
Side.
It was fun having you guys on individually, and we're happy to have you guys back. So good to see you, Kurt. I just said before, it's great to see you back on the mat and see you in videos again. How have you been?
Cool. It's been all right. I'm just like kind of being really tentative, like because my surgeon's like, look, don't do anything crazy. And I'm all, I was going to start to train, and he's like, no.
That's crazy. That's the crazy thing.
And I'm like, look, I had this idea, and he's like, no. So I'm being really tentative and everything. He's all, let it heal for it was just done, and like 6-week appointment was at the end of December. So, and now it's going to be March, but he's like, just let it catch up to the other one that's more healed and stuff like that.
So when you're out there,
I have a really nice girlish figure now.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Oh. Okay. Looking good.
No, I got hips. No, they put new hips in, and it's like, give me hips. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Did you guys put in the right hips?
Yeah. You look way better in a bikini now than you did before, huh?
Oh, I've got a curve.
Yeah, there you go.
Kurt's a fan of the Speedo, so you know,
oh yeah. Oh.
I'm a Speedo guy.
There you go.
Got no shame.
That's more shit we got in common.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh,
and how you doing, Yoshi? How's everything been?
Awesome, bro. Everything's good.
Yeah,
just
man.
training every day. Getting it.
Yeah.
Getting after it. Feeling good.
Are you still going to school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got my first semester in the books. I'm on my second semester now, and this semester's a lot easier than the first one, so I got more time to train. So
What are you gonna be when you grow up?
Yeah, I'm taking a doctorate in organization leadership studies.
Cool.
Be Dr. Yosh.
say that 5 times fast.
Fucking PhD.
I was walking around here saying Kurt and Yoshi. I'm like, I feel like it's a cartoon, like it's a good name for something, It just goes
be a
well.
cartoon. It'd be a violent cartoon where we kill a lot of things.
Yes.
It goes good together, man. So, I told you before, we got tons of questions, so I'm just going to kind of start running through these. I know a lot of these guys know you. Some guys say, yeah, I trained with them. Let's go through these questions, and then we'll go on tangents. I know that we will. So you had Christian Chan. He says he's one of your teammates at Half Gracie. I'm currently unable to train due to my torn Achilles. I got a lot of I'm hurt questions today.
Torn Achilles is fucked up.
That's one of the worst ones, right?
Yeah.
I want to know if Kurt...
That is one of the worst injuries ever.
Well,
I've never had one, thank God, but, I've had other ones that were like very time consuming and long recuperation and such like that. But I've heard that the Achilles is one of the worst.
Well, that's actually his question. He's like, I've got the torn Achilles. What have your worst injuries been?
Like pop knees, and then like one time I got like MRSA in my knee.
Ooh.
So
shit.
it was like as deep as a quarter and as round as a quarter, and it blew out. You know what I'm saying? Like it made a giant zit, like huge.
Oh
like this.
shit!
Wow!
Wow.
It was like, and the doctor's like, I went in and he's like, I'm like, I don't want to go to school, Mohammed. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, I'm like, where am I going? He's all, you're going to surgery now. Fucking put down the visor and everything. And all of a sudden he's all, okay, morphine. And I'm like, man. You know what I'm saying?
I had staph once, luckily only once, that the burning sensation, right? It gets real hot. I'm okay with kind of pain when they were like popping it. It was such a relief.
It was kind of a relief. right?
Oh, even though it hurt, I was just like, go ahead. I told her, I was like, keep on going. The worst part was, she's putting anesthetics. What would you call that?
Yeah,
like with the needle right into it.
Drugs.
That hurt more than when she was popping it, obviously, right? But that's not my worst injury, but that shit is a bitch. I don't know much about MRSA, but
that injury put me out for a whole month where I was like sitting on the sidelines, like healing my huge crater in my leg by like washing it out with like hydrogen peroxide and then packing it with sterile gauze and then covering and letting it heal from the inside out. So it would like the meat would rise.
Yeah. Oh boy. Is it now? Is like MRSA staph? Is MRSA? Does that mean the same thing?
No, MRSA is the metastatic resistance.
MRSA is even more.
It's flesh
worse
eating.
than
It's flesh
worse.
Oh,
okay.
shit.
Worse staph.
I always thought it was the same
There's
thing.
like staph.
Yeah. MRSA is flesh.
But MRSA, that motherfucker, it makes your tissue go necrotic.
Yeah.
So it kills the tissue. And so like this one time when I had one like because I thought I would be smart and I could slide down the fucking mats like a seal. I got one in my chest. Get up. I was like, watch me. And I slid
So
down the mat.
staph is in the name. The S in MRSA is staph. I know it's a version of it, right? So I don't. Luckily, I don't know enough about this shit. So
metastatic resistant.
But in the dark ages, MRSA would fucking kill motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
Get MRSA and you'd fucking die.
My doctor told me I had a bug bite. I went as soon as it started to
fucking stop.
He said you probably got you probably got bitten by a bug. He gave me something, and like the next day I was just like it blew up. I was in the hospital. He's like they told me like just go right to the hospital. And it was staph, so
bug herpes.
Yeah, and then they run a bunch of fucking super high end, fucking high powered, fucking antibiotics into you, and then hopefully it aspirates, which blows the poison out of you, and then you do the whole thing.
So Yoshi, I think what we talked, I probably asked you about injury. I know it's a common question. People are always asking about injuries. Have you had a sidelining injury? Have you had anything major?
Yeah, I tore my knee. I had a partial tear in my MCL twice from tournaments, and then I jumped back too fast into a tournament and tore the same thing. But I'm lucky, no skin shit. That shit's always scared the fuck out of me. But one time I was doing like a rock star pass where you throw your elbow over their abdomen and then kick back, and my fucking rib popped out. And like the MCL sucks, but like it just takes time to heal. But the rib, dude. That was like one of the most painful experiences because I just felt this thing floating and I'd reach down for something and I'd feel it go bloop, 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 bloop. And then I'd stand back up and I'd feel it move. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah. I was in Kurt's class too. And it was like probably like a blue belt. And I was just like, what do I do? And he was like,
that could put you out for fucking like 1 to 3 months.
Yeah. I've had it explained. I mean, I don't know if I've ever had a floating rib injury, but the doctor explained to me, like one time I was like, I'm having that problem back there. I didn't know what it was. And he was just like, think of when you order like just ribs or you get an order of ribs at a restaurant and that skin that's over the top. He's like, that skin has detached from your rib. Like it moved and now it's back. And that's what's causing you the pain. It's got to heal and like reattach itself. So you haven't broken a rib, but like that meaty part detached. Which I was okay. That fucking sucks.
I believe it's the intercostal muscles.
Is that what it's called?
He's a fucking doctor. He would know.
Yeah. He's self-medicating over there. He's got.
I'm a mad doctor. I would be a mad doctor.
Oh man.
So let's take a step back because we got to make sure we always have a lot of new people start to listen to the show and a lot of people white belts and they might not know you just yet. There are a lot of new people that jump on. Let's tell everybody who you are, how you guys what this relationship is. You want to kind of explain it, Yoshi? Just kind of give everybody your guys' history.
So this is one of my first instructors ever, Jiu-Jitsu, General Osiander, commander of the Armies of the West.
How many years ago is that? How many years ago did you guys first start training?
I'm 32 now. I started with him when I was 16.
Yep.
So fuck.
Oh my God.
This Yoshi's.
Oh my God.
We made me and Yoshi talked. We were like, let's make Kurt feel really old today.
That's all that's doing. It's like, oh, I've known him since he's 16 and now he's 32. So that's
16 years closer to death. no big deal.
Regardless, I'll beat him there.
So 16 years. Go ahead, Yoshi.
Yeah, he was my instructor at Half Gracie San Francisco, brought me into the fold, really like one of the guys that really pushed me to do competition and kept me in the sport. And yeah, I owe a lot to this guy for just building me in what I've become today in jiu-jitsu.
Very cool. How, Kurt, when you saw Yoshi and, you know, you see him coming up and he's doing the move of the days, how did you feel when you started to see him kind of take up that mantle a little bit?
Well, I thought he was doing my shtick.
Mother.
No, I mean, you know what? That was my Jew fucking language right there. I thought he was doing my shtick, and I was like, oh, that's cool, because, you know, that mean it's kind of like, how do you say it? Like, imitation is a form of
the sincerest form of flattery.
Right. So I thought, I was like, well, obviously I had an impact on him, and then he was doing it, and he's doing a good job at it, and people liked him too, and I'm all, well, that's like the best ever, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Now I know you guys have been doing, you did I think a few videos together. Are you guys talking about doing that more often? Is that, you know, is it just like, hey, when we come together, let's just shoot it, or are things like that planned out?
It's whatever we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never was like scripted or like, I never had any structure to what I was doing.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, I was like totally like, they're like, okay, ready? Go. And then I do what I did, you know, and I had there was no editing. There was no,
I call it that there was no method to the madness.
No, there was nothing. There was like, okay, look, Kurt, there's a camera. Look, anything.
Where did the, and I always think it's funny, and I think people always remember, where did like the whole middle finger thing start to come in? Was that just like one day you just
started
did
doing
it?
that because I like Johnny Carson, and he was like, oh, I was like, dude, you know, I'm like, fuck you, man. And plus my finger's really bent, fucked up. So it would be like, what the fuck is wrong with that?
Yeah, if you ever meet Kurt, man, take a look at his hands and his feet, dude. They shape and they like, it's like a fucking vineyard or like a vine just crawling over. It's like they're all shaped weird and fucking broken from jiu-jitsu.
But you never stop for fucking small appendages. A small appendage you could tape.
Yeah. Do you guys, when you guys get together, I know, Kurt, you're just getting back on the mat. Is there still a coach-student relationship? Or like, Yoshi, because you're teaching now too. Do you teach at your school?
No, I'm just a student.
You are a student?
On the internet, on the interwebs.
But Kurt, what school do you teach at? You're still at Half Gracie, right? Right, Yoshi? You're at Half Gracie. You're still that's the school that you've always been in. Have you ever trained, other than visiting other schools? Have you trained at any other schools?
I started off at a small gym called World Team USA, and it was like a Muay Thai-based school that had jiu-jitsu. And when I got more serious about jiu-jitsu, I started going to Half full time.
Yeah.
I do coach judo at University of San Francisco, but I don't teach any jiu-jitsu really. I visit Kurt as much as I can. He's teaching at La Marinda in the East Bay, here in Lafayette, California. And so whenever I can, usually like on Mondays, I'll go just to get his training, because I just love his methodologies and the way he like describes the moves, and like it's like simple but complex. Like his game is so good for my style that I just try to get as much as I can of it.
And Kurt, now, so you're not 100%. So when you're teaching, are you using like two guys to show a move, or are you able to like get into position and do the move?
I can still do the moves and stuff like that. I just gotta watch out, like, you know, if I start sparring and stuff like that, I have to watch out, because I'm on fucking blood thinners, and I'm on heart meds.
I gotta guess you do it. Like, well, I could roll a little light with this guy over here. Do you do a little?
Right. It depends on the person, right? Like that. But then again, the doctor's like, look, let everything fucking kind of heal up pretty good before you start moving around, and just walk a lot and try to, be on your feet as much as possible. So, my legs don't pop out like G.I. Joe.
I know but right now my shoulders are killing me. I've had cortisone shots over the last year, back and forth, and the shoulder. It feels great. When it's like, hey, I could finally move them. So I know that shoulder surgery is in my future, and I'm guessing eventually, if I do this long enough, that the hip. I mean, my hips are always. I guess everybody's hips are always tight, right? Like the abductors always tight. Like get out of bed in the morning, it's just like walking up the stairs and things like that. But
when it starts getting hard to get up off the floor, then you're gonna know. You're gonna be like, why do I have to crawl up the wall?
The crazy,
Why do I need a step of stairs in the middle of the living room?
Yeah, and when I go to train, and I'll just got to get that first roll in, or get the drilling done, and by the time I'm ready to roll, like I feel warmed up, like those things. It doesn't even register anymore, and then you stop, and maybe about 10, 15 minutes later, you're like, okay, there it is. There's the pain. There's the fatigue, and the tightness comes back. But
where are you guys at?
We're in Florida. I train up in Coral Springs.
Well, it's not freezing cold there right now, right?
No.
Okay. So, as it gets colder, shit hurts worse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Yoshi doesn't know this because he's still very young. But as you age, if the temperatures drop, all of a sudden everything fucking hurts, and you just run around screaming and run in a circle screaming.
I know. What do you guys think of? Have you done like cryotherapy or anything like that? Do you do like the ice baths?
Well, right now it's like constant cryotherapy, so I don't see how that could help me.
For you? Is it cold where you are? You're saying, or
no? It's fucking cold. It's like 28 degrees, bro.
Oh shit! Really? I hear California.
We have a winter storm warning for the first time in I don't know how many years. Like since I was little, when I was like this big, like a little Kurt.
Yeah,
it was annoying, fucking really still loud. and it snowed. And they're like winter storm warning. It's gonna snow in like 500 elevation. And so we've got a big mountain back here called Mount Diablo. So it's going to fucking snow up there. But if it's some sort of cold fucking super channel and it's supposed to like rain, but rain turns into snow, and they're like, the snow range is going to drop down to 500 to 1,500. And then at like 3,000 and 1,500 above, there's going to be 60 inches of fucking snow.
Jesus.
So there's something big coming in.
Yeah, it snowed yesterday in Oakland, which is right next to San Francisco, and it never fucking snowed.
And that's ocean. That's ocean.
Yeah, it never fucking snows in Oakland. It's pretty crazy.
It is 77 degrees here right now.
Fuck.
It's 77 degrees.
Yeah, like 800% humidity.
We're in South Florida. It was down to. I mean, we had. It's funny because
we got to 41.
We got like into the 40s.
Yeah, we got to
41. Put on your
weeks.
No, we got to 41 for one night.
Yeah. It was cold long enough for all the girls to take out their boots and their sweaters, and it's hilarious here.
Their lugs.
My wife, it drops below 70, and she's got like a container of boots that she never gets to wear. And it's like she wears them until it gets back up into the high 70s again. And I was like, babe, I mean, come on.
It got to 39 down here for 1 hour.
But like overnight, right? Like late, right? Yeah.
For 1 hour.
Yeah. It's funny.
And all the alligators had to snuggle.
Yeah.
I get, it's the same thing like here. It's like, Florida's like, the ding-a-ling of the United States here, so it's like
hot.
It's down here it's warm, but no, you hear somebody say Florida, and then up by the border, up in like Jacksonville, and the border with Georgia, it gets really cold up there, but not down right now down here. I mean, it's beautiful. I bought a new truck last year, and I could take the top down. I got a Bronco, so I'm able this is the weather that I'm waiting for. That the sun driving down here, the sun is just low enough so it's not beating through the roof. And it's cool enough, like you could turn off the AC, just let the wind come through the car. So now I'm having fun right now. But when it's 80, 90, then you have to have the AC on. What's that?
And then shoot shit out the back of the Jeep.
No. No, we're not. I'm not in an area like that. Not yet.
So I usually, like, when I go to Alabama for a seminar and stuff like that and see my friend Niall Yamani, I fly into Pensacola.
Yeah, that's north.
Way down
Right
there?
North. Yeah.
And he drives over the Alabama border and comes and gets me. And then we drive back through. And we're like driving. He's like, whoa, gator.
Yeah, that's the Panhandle. That's North Florida. That's the Panhandle. That we don't. The South Florida doesn't claim that part. We're like, we don't know those people. The further north you go, we say down here at least. I'm from New York. Bo's from New York. Everybody's from another place around here. The further north you go in Florida, the further south you go in the U.S. But like West Palm Beach down, I mean, it's just a huge mix of everything. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. I mean, everything.
Former non-Southerners.
Yeah, it's just, but like that's like West Palm Beach, maybe Boca down, and then it's just like a complete mix. It's a complete different world. So when I came from New York and I moved to a place called Delray, which is just north of Boca Raton, I didn't really know Florida. I'd been to Orlando and went to Disney World, but I'm like, I'm going south. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm a Puerto Rican kid going to move to freaking the land of Hicks. And then I always tell this story. I was at the supermarket, and this blonde, blue-eyed woman, white skin, pale, is yelling at her kids, yelling at her kids in the supermarket in Spanish. And I was like, this is amazing. I love this. Where I'm from, it was Puerto Rican and Dominican. That's all you saw. Like that was the only Hispanic I knew. And then you come down here, I'm like, oh, Cubans. I didn't have black beans till I was in Florida, till I moved down here. Like it was just even for me, Hispanic was a culture shock coming here. But I fell in love with it because of that mix. So
Miami's like a mini South America.
Yeah.
Got every.
It's scary. I don't speak Spanish very well, so it's scary coming down to Miami because everybody wants to speak to you in Spanish, and you just got to nod a lot, like a little slower. What?
Cuban Spanish got a little island twang on it, so that shit's fucking like. What did you say? Like,
the slang. Yeah, the slang is different.
Everything's got it's slang.
Yeah. All right, let's do another question. This is also from Chris. This is good. If Kurt and Yoshi were to open up a gym together, what would they name their school?
Oh fuck!
I don't know.
I told you that what I thought went well together, but
bro, that's.
I think he's looking for something better.
You know what that's going to be, right? That's going to be KY.
Yeah.
Jelly.
KY MMA, KY Jiu-Jitsu.
KY Super Roll.
I'll tell you, it's gonna go easy. You get in there right away.
Yeah, we might have to switch that to Yoshi and Kurt instead of Kurt and Yoshi.
KY. No, I like the KY Super Roll.
That's a T-shirt. You got who's your sponsor there?
Show your roll.
There you go. KY Jiu-Jitsu. Have them get on that.
Oh my God.
If it was the other way around, it'd be Yoku.
It's quite suggestive, and I like it.
If it was the other way, it'd be Yoku.
Yoku
Jiu-Jitsu?
The first two letters of each.
That could work.
Yoku.
Do you guys now Yoshi, are you guys like watching all this stuff with like Gordon and Craig Jones and Pena and all this stuff with the steroid or Nicky
I watch
Rod.
all the fights and stuff, and I know they're on juice.
I
it's
mean,
obvious.
I
mean,
say that all
you
the
don't
time.
look like that.
You can't get to that size and maintain that. It's just it's not humanly possible in my eyes. I don't think we've right. It's
because I've tried it. It's impossible.
What do you think about it, though? Do you think that it's right? Do you think that it's fair for competition? You want to pump your body full of drugs. Do it.
If you're going to unify the rules, then of course then everybody take as much sauce as possible. and then spread it on your body as you come into the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, man. You gotta level the playing field, right?
Everybody's gonna be on sauce, and there's gonna be no sauce law.
Thank you to Feito IT and AV, specializing in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, CCTV, POS, and more. Check them out at feitoitav.com or call 305-428-2515 and let them know the dummy sent you. Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at thebjjbox. Neutral Zone is combat family owned, so they know you need to keep yourself and your equipment clean. They created Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays for just that purpose. Neutral Zone products are formulated to reduce the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Whatever's making you sweat, weight training, rolling on the mats, yard work, or just working around the house, Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays can make you feel and smell refreshed. Use code JJD to get 15% off your online order at neutralzoneclean.com. While you're there, sign up for their newsletter to receive the latest info and updates on product launches like their new shower gel and soap bar coming soon. Are you Neutral Zone Clean? Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Yeah.
Right. Then it's fine. There's a no sauce law. But because if jiu-jitsu wants to be legitimized and then finally be accepted as an Olympic sport, which will be very hard and a very long ongoing thing, and the judo people will totally fucking hate on us and everything. And I mean, it would really be hard to bring a new sport into, but I mean, fuck, they have ballroom dancing, curling. There's all kinds of Olympic sports that could be negated in lieu of professional, or national jiu-jitsu teams fighting each other in like meets, like dual meets and such. I mean, I think that would be really entertainment and really, really, really good for everybody to see. So, I mean, but then again, the no sauce law.
Keep on hearing. I hear coleslaw. No coleslaw.
no sauce.
But like IBJJF, they do testing, right? Like for the gis.
Random. It's completely random. It's like, are you taking steroids? No. Okay, we're going to test
not my friends. we're not random.
And they're asking the audience. They're like, "Are you taking steroids? We're going to test you."
But honestly, it's
not even one of the competitors. It's just somebody random in the audience.
I mean, I think that's isn't that what these guys are saying is actually going on? That it's so random that they're testing people that they know are going to pass. Like, it's just like, well, we're definitely not going to test him. Like that. Well, let's skip that guy. You know, he looks he's natty. He's natural.
He couldn't wipe his ass, so he tested.
I mean, I just think if you're going to do it from a competitor's perspective, a paid competition perspective, I think you got to test. But I think this is what I think is going to happen. Because one championship is breaking in, right? I don't know if you follow like ONE FC. I'm just starting to follow it, so I don't know everybody. But because they're breaking into the U.S. market now with being on Prime, and their first event is going to be in Colorado, eventually, because they do jiu-jitsu only matches, either you got to get tested or they're just not going to be able, they're going to have to start testing if they start bringing in some of these bigger guys. You know, like Gordon had a contract for a little while and then it was gone, and I think he might be negotiating or have another one. So it's like, it's, if they want to grow, you're going to have to filter those people out. I think that's, if it's going to happen, I think that's where it's going to happen. UFC obviously doesn't do it.
Go back to their weight class and be their natural weight.
Yeah.
And be on weight all the time and not be able to be like, or they do like fucking Tweety Bird when Tweety Bird used to take the fucking sauce and be like,
So I know for everybody right now, like down here in Florida, everybody's on testosterone replacement. That's just a thing now. Now, do you call that steroids? Do you not call it? It's like it's helping your body produce.
I'm not.
Everybody's on some form of TRT. I know more people on it than not on it that train. And I messed around with steroids in my 30s. I'm going to be 50 in June. And this is what I tell everybody who's doing all this stuff. I tell them very clearly, it's not right now. It's what is it going to do to your body when you stop. And I know that because I had a heart attack. The only question on the table when I was getting rushed to the hospital and getting stents put in, the only question that the cardiologist asked me before, like they don't put you completely under, but they put you like in a haze. It's the only question that she asked me. She asked me nothing else about my health. I don't even think she asked me my name. She just said, have you done steroids? And I said, when I was younger. And she just nodded. And it was just like, then I went out, they had given me something and that was it. And, 4 stints later. And I also had, you get some lumps. I've never actually talked about this. I've had to have like some of the flesh removed. Gynecomastia surgery. I actually had, I've never talked about it, and nobody even knows. I had to have major skin pulled out because I was never super heavy, but because of that, it just like these little lumps grew and grew and grew. So great, guys. I know that it's giving you what you want now, but guess what? I went mid-30s to early 40s. So I did it, and I know what the effects are 10 years later, whether it's cosmetic or it's health.
Is that TRT?
That's what you're gonna. Well, that was steroid. I did growth. I did D-ball, and I can't even remember some of the stuff that I did. Short period of time. I wasn't on it for years. I could probably say I did like on and off stuff for a couple of years. Probably didn't go on and off the correct ways, and I didn't know. And I'm following a bunch of knucklehead friends that are like, "Here, do this." But I know what the future brings, and that's when people ask me, I'm like, I'm of that age where I should be doing it. I'm like, I'm not going to inject anything into my body. I may take some, get some stuff from GNC and things like that, but that's my take on it.
Well, at least testosterone's not from a gorilla.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be, make your body produce. But anyway, so that's my take on it. So great, these guys don't understand what it's going to do to them 10, 15 years from now. And I've been to a place.
I asked my doctor if I could do it, and she's like, no. And I was like,
did she give you the why? Did she tell you why?
Yeah, she's like, no, you're diabetic, and you're like kind of pre-diabetic, and you had some problems this way. And I'm like, but I really think I need this. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what if I were to get it by myself and administer it? She's like, no.
Now, Bo just said, steroids and testosterone replacement, what's different? I don't know all the ins and outs of both of them. But anything that you're putting into your body that's making your body act differently or do things differently, you're changing the chemical composition of your body.
Me food?
I'm just not a big fan of it. Don't mind smoking a bowl. I haven't been an angel in my life. I put plenty of stupid things in my body over the years, but I just know how those things have affected me now at 50. Anytime anybody asks me, "Oh, should I do this or would you do it?" I'm like, just you're rolling the dice. You just don't know what's going to happen. I went to a place, I'm not going to name the place, but I went to the place where a whole bunch of my teammates go. It's a franchise now. And right in the document, it says, we do not know the effects 10, 15 years. Like it basically said a line, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. We do not know what these effects are. The effects of these, these injections will be in a decade or so. And I'm just like, boom, right there. That's it. I'm out. Because I don't want to go through that shit again. I want to be around. I have talked about, I'm taking I'll try over the counter stuff. I've been doing Astroflave, which is one a lot of guys have been talking about it. You probably see it in your feed on Instagram. I do take that, which is supposed to help your body create some testosterone. So I'm not saying that I'm not doing anything, but I'm not going to inject myself with anything. Let's say that. Let me try this over the counter stuff, which is supposed to be a little bit different. We'll see. And my other problem with that stuff is you take this and then, you've got to take these other things, these supplements and other shots to, you take testosterone. It's going to do things to your body. Now you've got to take these things to help with estrogen and things like that. So that's where it gets into the weeds with me. So anyway.
It's so scary with guys like Ronnie Coleman who can barely fucking move around and they're constantly in pain. That's why I got to give it props to like the Ruotolo brothers who like really want to try to be like clean, natural athletes. And they're just taking care of themselves. Because, some of these big guys are going to be fucking hammering people right now.
If you look at, like, a lot of, like, fighters that have, like, died just recently, like Stephen Bonner, guy was fucking younger than me.
Yeah.
And so, naturally.
Do we know anything? Did they talk about?
But, come on, that MMA lifestyle is fucking tough. Because you're either fucking training harder than fuck or you're partying hard as fuck.
Yeah. Same thing with wrestlers. Every time I hear like a wrestler die, I'm like, some dude in his 40s and 50s and these WWE guys that die.
We already created an enlarged heart because we're pumping more, vascular and more oxygen to our body. But I think that, during these bouts of like MMA and stuff like that, they're like,
yeah,
right. And then you can sustain the damage for that training camp, but then afterwards there's that much of a crash, and then coming back is going to be just as hard, and therefore you just keep going back and forth until it runs you down. And it may not run you down now like you were saying, but it'll run you down later.
And I have this conversation with people, and they're just like, heading to the gym. Just took my shot. Got to go to the gym. I'm like, all right, to each his own. Back to the competition side of it, though, I just don't think it's fair. If you're taking steroids, and you want to take steroids, let's make it legal. But you should only fight somebody that knows that you're on steroids or that is also on steroids. Okay, let's put you in that category. Those guys are chemically modified.
I will fight your steroid ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's
right.
Every natural athlete's pretty much signing up for that because everyone's juicing at the top level. I was at ADCC in Vegas and holy fuck, these guys are monsters.
Yeah,
like they're just fucking so giant and so crazy.
And now, with Gordon coming out and saying it, and now you're seeing some of his teammates, you're like, oh, okay, now he's not just doing it and like not telling his teammates. These guys are probably like, hey, let me do that. They see the money, they hear about the $1 million flow grappling contract, and they're like, oh, let me do this. Again, I go back to the money sounds great, the girls go great, you're on the beach and you look all good. But, if you're dead in 15 years or you start to have medical issues in 15, 20 years, was it worth it?
That's why I say fight high. You'll fight good. Fight high? Yeah, fight high, you'll fight good.
Kurt likes that one.
I always say.
Well, see, we got another thing in common.
I just posted a high road.
Look, I won all my tournaments on acid.
Yoshi's nodding. He's like, yeah, he did.
Yeah, I can't tell if he's half serious or half joking because I was like,
he actually did.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
I'm very serious. It's not for spinning around in circles listening to Grateful Dead.
Oh, the acid. I had to go back to the acid. As he's smoking, I'm like, is he talking about smoking? So, do you?
He's on delay.
I won't put Yoshi on the spot. I'll let him share if he'd like to. Obviously, Kurt has it doesn't keep it a secret that he partakes in a little of the what did you say you were smoking before? Can you share that, or should we move on? No, not just weed. He was talking about something else. What was it?
Oh, shatter. Shatter's nothing secret. It's just wax.
So
it's an extract like oil, but it's so thick at room temperature it's hard. So when you have to break off a piece, it shatters.
Okay.
And you take a piece, you put it in a pipe.
Looks like crack.
It's pure THC. It's pure THC.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, they sell it at dispensaries. I've gotten it before. Yeah. It's really fucking good.
What do you prefer?
It's really, really good.
It is really fucking good.
Do you prefer to train high, Kurt, or?
Yeah, I used to like burn a lot and train. Yeah, always.
I just shared a High Rollers post before. They tagged me in something, and I shared it to my story. And I'm like, I don't mind smoke. I rarely smoke. I'm not against it, but I've never rolled high. But I just know I'd probably just be like,
never.
I'd be standing like this. I've never rolled high. Never rolled high. Look at you. She's like, never.
I can guarantee. I know that I've rolled not high, but I can guarantee that afterwards we all got high.
You too, Yoshi.
So my smoking intake, I used to smoke a lot of weed, like a lot. I used to work at a cannabis dispensary.
Oh shit.
But recently, I just been so busy with school and work and everything that I kind of slowed down a lot. But definitely coming up in like my colored belt sections, I was definitely more Rolling Stone than not.
I smoked a lot when I was younger, so I always smoked, always had something around. Just kind of life happens, get a little bit older. Definitely when I met my wife, she had a 9-year-old daughter when we met, and we started living together after a couple years. And I was just like, I'm not gonna have it in the house, or just it was because of that. It was just like, I didn't need it. Every once in a while, like if I have trouble sleeping, like I'll be like, okay, I know there's some around here somewhere. I got to find the Tupperware wherever I hit it. And like I do it to sleep. It's smoke, eat, and pass out. That's my routine with weed. So I'm no pro. What's that?
It's the status quo.
What'd you say?
It's the status quo.
That what I just explained?
That routine.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, I just never. I don't know. I've never done it and like worked out, but I know that I get too mellow. I just want to fucking chill, man. I don't want to hurt that guy over there. I don't want to choke him.
The worst is if like let's say you like hit the parking lot before class, and then you come into class maybe a little early, but kids' class is going on, and you're like, oh fuck. Parents are giving you the side eye.
I used to get stoned and teach kids class.
It's like Disneyland.
There you go. You got it right there.
It's like
that was the only way to deal with little fuckers.
Yeah. Right there. There's a video. There's a reel. That's a TikTok right there. All right. So, okay, we're going to go to our next question. We'll get more on the serious side if we can. Kurt Markle says, if we can, what drill has helped you progress the most in BJJ? And he says, I generally drill every day after class, and I'm curious which ones benefit the most. Thank you.
I would say side control to back take.
Yoshi?
So as the guy turns into you, I move towards, 69, and I throw my arm over his waist, and I do a step back, and then I come in with a knee pillow, and I have my wrist control, and I take his back. That I say that's the best one.
Yoshi?
Yeah, similar answer around the world where you're just transitioning into different positions. Speed drills are amazing too, just to build that muscle memory. I think like speed drills, little transition drills from like whether that's knee on belly to mount, off knee on belly, other side, knee on belly mount, off the other side, or even leg drags fast. Just speed drills are like one of my favorites just to get in the zone and build that muscle memory.
Like complete movements.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like complete movement drill. So that movement is always complete. And so if you drop me from whatever, an airplane, and I land in that position on the person and they move, I know where I'm going to move. Right.
I got you. I know for me, I like to, when I drill, I'll always, like some people will drill and like be lazy with the move. I'm not killing my partner, but I try not to be lazy with the move. Like if I'm going to do a passing drill, I'm going to wind up getting a good side control. And I'll usually like pull them towards me and be like, done. Like it's like my way of saying done. And then I'm going to release and then I'm going to go do it again. When people are doing it like lazily, or they just put their hands on the mat, they don't like connect their hands.
That's how you drill it.
Yeah, right. You're going to do it. You're going to do that in a competition, or you're going to do that when you're training later because you're not used to it. I want to remember that I'm always supposed to. This is right here where I'm supposed to be. So I try not to be lazy with the drilling. I think that's like, he's got a great question. When you're drilling, don't be lazy. Finish it. Go all the way through. And I do like the speed drills that you said, Yoshi, which those, right, like you're talking about, like if you're passing like a Toriando, right? You're moving quick. Okay.
And like with like putting effort into it, like when I was bigger, when I first met Kurt, I was like a little bit north of 300 pounds. I'm like around 230 right now. And it's like, I was scared to be big. I was scared to put my weight and scared to like hurt someone. So I was always drilling like kind of weirdly, like kind of afraid to be a big guy. And so now like I'm learning like, all right, you got to do it right. Because if you don't do it right, like you said, if you don't put that effort into it, it's not going to come out it's not going to come out right when you try to put it into live rolls.
I am right now. I'm 240, and since I've trained, I've been north of 220 always since the first day that I trained. And I try to explain to people what you just said, especially when I'm rolling with somebody smaller and they're like, that I try to roll with the bigger guys. I'll be like, okay, big boys unite. Come on, guys, like let me. Because if I'm rolling with somebody smaller, I have to spend. I've tried to explain this to people. I have to spend just as much time thinking about how not to hurt you to like manage my weight so I don't hurt you, especially when we're drilling. As I do trying to get the move right. And now I'm like, I'm at brown. I'm hopefully be a black in the next couple of years. I'm less worried about it. Or I think it's that I can control it more, so I'm not as worried about it. But I've explained that to people. I'm like, I understand that I'm also thinking about how not to hurt you, not to fall on top of you. My coach is a cyborg black belt. So everything is pressure passing. Everything. He's like 175. He feels like he's 300 pounds. Everything is pressure passing. Everything is body locks. Everything is like grind. Get your shoulder in their face. And I'm over here like, sorry, buddy. Like I'm always apologizing, But now I just feel more comfortable with my weight than I did before. And luckily now I have guys. I didn't always have guys my size in my gym, and now I have a whole bunch of like white and blue belts that are like over 200, and it wasn't always like that. It's hard to train with a little guy, want to be nice. I was the bully for a long time though too.
Sure.
I was a bully just because of the weight. It was just like I'm trying not to put it all on you, but it's just gonna happen. Okay, let's go to, I like this name, Ishmael. Ishmael 44. Okay. How do you both overcome stagnation? I think this is a great question for Kurt right now after the surgeries. How do you overcome stagnation, and how can he avoid it in the future?
I didn't ever really stop because I stayed teaching and I stay teaching. And so that makes me move around while I teach because that's the way I teach. And so, I mean, I never ever got bored of jiu-jitsu. I would have like, of course, where there would be like a down flux where I'd not train so good and I'd be like, fuck, I'm in this fucking valley. And then, you just have to keep training and then you'll come out of it,
Yeah.
And then a lot of my students will call me and they're like, man, I'm really disanimated. I think I'm not going to go to the gym. And I'm like, fuck you, go to the gym, roll around, you'll fall back in love with it. It'll just take some time. So, I mean, even though I'm not rolling and training, I still teach every day. And so that keeps my head in it. And I'm still doing the moves and I still have to teach them and I still have to go around and correct everybody else. So keeps me in it.
Kurt, have you ever at any point just said, I can't do this anymore. I need to quit. I want to quit or I need to quit. Has it ever crossed your mind?
I can't do it. I don't think I can.
Yeah. How long have you been training, Kurt? When did you start?
Since 93.
Do you remember how old you were? I can't. I'm not good at the math.
I started counting for serious at 28 when I was like, fuck, I'm a construction worker and I'm good at this. Maybe I should put my emphasis on this and then and learn how to teach and train and fight and this and that. And so that's when at 28, that's when I really focused on jiu-jitsu a lot.
Yeah.
For as many years as I could.
How about you, Yoshi? I remember from the last episode that you were on, you talked about you had some time off the mat.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Yeah, I took some breaks. I felt like life, trying to survive in the Bay Area on my own. But that was like all excuses. Like, I could tell someone going through like a rut and like trying to get back to training, I'd say the number one thing is like go find a good community. Like, if you have a strong community and you have good friends and good people around you on the training mat, then it motivate you even more to train. And if you don't have the right community, then you might want to look for another gym. It's like, I think one of it is like jiu-jitsu is so important to me, but it's also like the community building aspect as well. It's like, these are my people. And I think once you found your people, like, then it's going to just motivate you even more to progress with them.
Did you, in those times that you did take off, was there ever a time that you thought, I probably never step on the mat, or was it always in the back of your mind, like, I got to get back out there? It
was always like, I got to get back out there. Like, don't waste the skills that I've got. Like, I started judo at 5. I started jiu-jitsu at around like 15. So it's like I've been in this game too long to give up now. And it was always in my head, like, I'm going to go back, but then today turned tomorrow, and then I'm going to go back next week, and then next week turns into next month. And then just one day I just walked back into the gym. And then it just creating that routine again of like, this is our goal. This is what we want to do. This is what we're going to get after. And once you get that routine again, then you're flying.
How you said you were at one point you were over 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about what you did to get the weight down. I mean, it's not just jiu-jitsu. I mean, I know for me, it's like what I put in my body. Again, going back to that, it's like I could work out all I want, but if I'm putting crap in my body and not eating well, I don't lose a pound.
For sure. I was really lucky enough to be on my collegiate judo team, and my coach wouldn't let me fight in the open weight. It's 100 kilos and up, and he says, you want to compete on this team? I need you at this weight. And the competitor in me was like, fuck that, I'm competing. No way, you're not going to get me to beat these motherfuckers up. So just me, he really pushed me. His name's Kevin O, and I really owe him a lot for pushing me to drop down to that weight class, and I've kind of stayed at it since.
Is that part of the same team that you now coach?
Yeah.
Are those the same people? There you go. You talked about community before. You've been at Half Gracie's all of your career, and you've trained judo with that same group the entire time.
Pretty much. Before college, I trained with a guy named Mitchell Palacio at the City College San Francisco. It's a city college, but ever since I was a kid, I was training there. He lets other people join the gym. But when I went to university at USF, that's when I went full time with the University of San Francisco team.
You're like, I'm thinking about my wife, who she won't buy anything other than a Honda. Like, she's so loyal to everything she does. Loyal to her gym, loyal to me, loyal to the car. Like, she does nothing else exists but Hondas. Like, she's just like, I found my brand. I'm sticking with my brand. It's this. It's one of the things I love about her.
She's actually smart that way.
Yeah.
I had a MRX, the weird looking Honda. And my friend gave it to me, and it had a fucking 100,000 miles on it. And I put another 200,000 miles on that fucker.
I'm always telling her, I'm like, there are other brands out there. And she's like, go ahead and buy me one of them. And I'm like, no, stick with the Honda. You're good. This is it's a good car. It's a good car.
Better Honda Accord. Her 86 Honda Accord.
Yeah. She's had every car that she's had since she started driving. She's had like the Civic, and then now she's into the HRVs. She loved it so much. We bought her daughter an HRV. So I'm like, okay, hey, listen, if it keeps the bills down, right? I was like, Lexus makes it's kind of the same. And she's like, no, I like this. And then she just throws it back. Well, if you want to get it, you can buy it for me. And I'm like, let's stick with the Hondas. Very dependable vehicle.
Very
dependable.
Fucking 20 grand to fucking 50 grand.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
There's some cool fucking Toyotas out there. The Supra, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're
cool
talking
cars
Bo's
out
language. Bo's he used to race cars.
Oh man, I want a Supra. I want an A90 so bad.
But we talked to Bo when but we were having this conversation after the last episode. We were talking about it like takes an hour to get from here to where like Miguel lives, and he's like, I could do that in 10 minutes, and we're like, what the? Come on, but he's
Going
talking
200
about
miles an hour.
Yeah, he's like, well, if I drive 100 miles an hour, I'm like, who drives 100 miles an hour? Bo drives 100 miles an hour. He's that guy.
I do. I really do.
Yeah. What is it? What do you have? What do you
If you
drive?
want to get anywhere, you're going to have to go 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. See, exactly. That's my point. It's a Subaru too. Thank you, Subaru. Well-built, beautiful car you've given me.
WXR?
No, BRZ, the rear-wheel drive coupe.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
we're going to get into our next question here, and I think you guys might know this. Do you know Caveman Mike?
Yeah, Mike Morrell.
Yeah.
Mike Morrell. Okay. He sent us a whole bunch of questions. I love when I get questions from guys that know the guest, because usually there's some subtext to why they're asking the questions. But anyway, so the first one is, what is the weirdest thing you ever saw at the Howard Street Academy? Tell us what the Howard Street Academy is, and then tell us the weirdest thing.
This one time, we were all sitting there, and Chris Laban from Hawaii. You know Chris Laban?
Yeah, UFC.
So he was in town.
Let me just say, he's the guy that peed on the guy's pillow day one of The Ultimate Fighter. But go ahead.
Okay, if he's known for that, that's fine.
He's known for that.
But needless to say, so we used to all fucking train in MMA, and so Jake Shields would come down, and Gilbert, and fucking Luke Stewart, and Joey Armstrong, and myself, and fucking White Mamba, and fucking all these fucking thugs would get together, and Chris Lieben was in town, and so the night before he had obviously gone out.
That's his thing.
He went out, right? And so when you go out, you usually go out big, right? And so he was in, and he comes in, and I'm like, holy fuck, it's Chris Lieben. He's all, hey, what's up? I'm all, look, the bathroom's back there. And so he comes back out, and he's like pulling on his shorts and everything like that, and comes out, and he's kind of disheveled. And out in front is this thing that looks like Gollum. Like Gollum, like in The Hobbit.
Are we seeing a female?
No, it's I don't know what it is.
Oh.
It's humanoid. It's walking around. It has a loincloth type thing on it, but as it's walking around, it's like lifting up the back end of the loincloth, and it has a protracted colon. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, like it's sticking out, right? The colon sticking out.
So it's like a Kong, like a toy for a dog, coming out of your asshole.
Oh, man.
Did Chris Liebens bring this person to the gym? Is this person with Chris? Okay.
So Chris Lieben comes out, and I'm watching this thing walk up and down in front of the window, like dripping poop out of its colon. And it's like, my precious, and whatever. Like, it's in front of the hat, and he comes up and he looks up, and I go, welcome San Francisco, Chris Lieben. And he's like, over, just pukes in the garbage can. I'm all, fuck yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
So that was one of the crazy days. That was not the only crazy day. There's many crazy days.
Tell us about this Howard Street Academy. What is this place where?
So it was between like 6th and 7th, like, 6th and 7th on Howard Street, and like Howard was one street down from Market, and then Howard was one street down from
Folsom.
that? From Folsom. So you're in a fucking really faggot rich weird area.
All right, so it's in this place called Soma, south of Market. And
yes,
Folsom Street is where they
call it faggot rich.
Yeah, Folsom Street is where they have all like the bondage stores and like the bondage festivals and like dudes walking around naked. And 6th Street, where it's in between, is like kind of like San Francisco Skid Row. It's not nearly as bad as like LA Skid Row, but it's kind of like a little mini Skid Row on 6th Street. And so like all types of creatures are there. And it's like every time you go to the gym, you got to like make sure you're not stepping on poop or like needles or like, it's kind of like a little bit of a rough area, which is crazy because like that's like my favorite place. Like how great San Francisco is like my favorite place in my least favorite neighborhood. A crazy juxtaposition, man.
Oh wow! No wonder he asked. Did Caveman Mike train there with you guys? He knows that place too.
Yeah. He's a black belt under Health as well.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. So did you guys like start out like? Did you go there? Is that someplace that you trained?
Yeah. So that's where I still train at the Howard Street location. Me and Mike started judo together.
So I'm thinking it's like the Howard Street Academy. That's Half Gracie Academy.
Yeah, that's Half Gracie.
Okay, I got you. All right, now it makes more sense to me.
Yeah, me and Mike Morrell came up through the ranks together. We started off in jiu-jitsu as white belts together. I started judo when I was a white belt. He was a brown belt. So we both did. He's a judo and a jiu-jitsu black belt now. So we both kind of went along the same trajectory together.
Oh, very cool.
Shout out to Caveman Mike Morrell.
So he also asked, what is your craziest fight story? We'll let Kurt take that one.
I think I know why he's asking that question. So on my 21st birthday, we went to Haight Street, and Haight Street's like a little cool, little crazy street. Haight and Ashbury is like famous for like the hippies in the back in the day.
Yeah.
So we went on my 21st birthday. We went to a bar on Haight Street, and like all these fighters, we got like MMA guys, jiu-jitsu guys, judo guys, Muay Thai guys, like a whole bunch of fighters at 2 a.m. on the street. And these group of guys like tried to like get tough with one of my friends, and they started to scuffle. And then all of a sudden, there's like a rumble going on between like the Haight Street gutter punks and then like all my friends. And this is my 21st birthday. I'm with some chick, and then I'm just like, whoa, what's going on? And Mike Morrell comes up, and he's like, I'm putting an end to all this, and starts pepper spraying like the whole line of dudes trying to fuck to our group. But there was fucking windy that day, so the pepper spray ends up hitting like all of us too. And so like the whole crowd dispersed, and like it was like a crazy rumble. But yeah, Mike Morrell put an end to the rumble.
Kurt, how about you? Is that anything that I think we probably asked you this last episode.
Story?
What's the craziest fight that you've ever been involved with?
Never been involved with?
No, that you've ever been involved with. What's the crazy? Give us your craziest fight story, on or off the mat.
This one was. It was like we were on the mat, and this guy came into the front of Ralph Gracie Jiu-Jitsu on Howard Street, and he came in, and we're like, and I always do that because as soon as somebody comes in the door, I'm like, my ears perk up like a dog, and I'm like, can I help you? And the guy's like, yeah, I just want to ask some questions. And I'm like, this guy's full of shit. And like, meanwhile, there's a shoe rack underneath the desk, right? And so as he's like talking to us, he's like, and I'm gonna put the shoes back in the rack. And he's like, and he backs up and he bolts out the door. And I'm like, motherfucker. So he runs out the door. I run out the door. I come around the thing and around the whole desk, and I'm like, running down. Meanwhile, my other black belt, Julian, on the other side, runs out the door, and he like chases this guy down, and he's like way in front of me, and he grabs the guy and he does the hockey slam. He grabs him by the jersey and fucking just turns him around and bounces him off this fucking Subaru. And like he ricochets off the side of the Subaru and falls on the ground, and I'm like, yes. And I go knee on stomach, and I'm like, now, motherfucker, you're gonna die. And I'm like, I start stomping him,
pride style,
and his fucking backpack opens and like all kinds of needles and everything. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, you fucking motherfucker. And then my student Jose grabs me, pulls me like, stop it, Kurt, you're gonna kill him. I'm trying to kill him. Stop stopping me. Stop stopping me. So needless to say, the cops come, and they're like, he says that you guys beat the shit out of him and took his backpack. I'm all, no, he stole shoes and we chased him down. And they're like, oh, all right. And they took him away, abruptly. He was shoved into a car and then taken away. But you don't get in trouble for anything in San Francisco.
When you say your ears perked up, my mind started to go to, I just saw a video like this the other day. Like somebody was going to come in the challenge, like be like, oh, yeah, what's this jiu-jitsu stuff? Did that happen a lot? Have you ever seen that happen?
Oh, that was in the old days. That was like that was like pre the first UFC, and then especially after the first UFC, that started happening a lot.
People wanted to be like, yeah, come on, let's Mr. Black Belt, let's
all right. And then they'd be like, Kurt, train with him and kill him. All right. It's pretty simple commands, and they'd give me the wink, you know, and then sometimes I'd kill people, and then they'd be like, "What are you fucking doing?" I'm all, "I thought you gave me the sign," and they're like, "I didn't give you the sign."
I had that for I was definitely the enforcer for a short period of my career. I was again because of my size. If somebody came in that was rolling a little hard, I was usually the guy. But then I got older, and then it got age creeps up on you quick in this business, you know, in this in jiu-jitsu. But
yeah.
Now I somebody called me a teddy bear the other day. They said, "You're such a teddy bear when you roll." I'm like, "Thank you. Tell that to the coach," because coach still calls me out when he sees me break it in like a north-south on somebody, and I'm squeezing somebody's neck. He's like, "Great, Milt. Nice. You'll be a great training partner. Real good guy."
As you rape your partners.
That's I love hitting the north-south just from all different positions and like finishing the choke from there. And my coaches get on me about it. Like, you know, try something different. I go, but what about this, you know, the whole like 10,000, you know, do it 10,000 times to perfect it. And everybody reacts differently. So I like to see like the little reactions. And I'm like, oh, okay, just lock it in. And I guess, is it on the list of dickhead? Is it like on the list of dickhead chokes? Is it like
I would rotate armaments every week. So like, this week, I would do these 5 finishes, and then next week, those were not available. I had to do.
Okay. Like, don't do that because that's.
So you don't, like, because you can always go to your favorites when it's, you know, when it's cut and dry, then you're going to go to your favorites automatically anyway, right?
I could use what I know that he may not realize this. I know that I will use them on guys that go a little too crazy. I'm like, all right, he's going to have to learn that, look, I could do something weird. Like, oh, my coach like there's levels. Maybe, I don't know if my coach is the one that started saying that, but right, I think they say that. There are levels to this, or for every level, there's another level. My coach says all that stuff all the time. And sometimes, like I said, we have like a lot of these big guys, and they come in, and maybe they wrestled for a few years in high school, and they come in and they roll hard. And I'm like, you know, they see me, I'm the same size as them, and they want to roll hard. And I'm like, number one, I got to get up in the morning and go to work. So if we're going to roll hard, okay, we're going to roll hard. But you're probably going to be on the receiving end of an ass whooping, especially when you're newer, right? I mean,
that'd be the easiest way, wouldn't it?
So usually I give them some of those. We do a lot of lockdown at my school. My coach is like huge on the lockdown and just like that whole series and taking the back from the lockdown. So we do a lot of that. So like those big guys that they want to Hulk smash, all right. And, you know, you could tap a white belt with just a lockdown. Just they think their calf is about to break or their femur's going to break. They don't know yet. So, I mean, those are my go-tos with guys that come in and roll too hard and try to bully. So I don't do them all the time. But I like what you say. I do. I'm gonna try that. I'm not doing that this week. I'm going to try. I have gone in like, I know I'm going to try to finish with this one, but I've never said I'm not going to use this.
There's so much.
I'm not doing it.
Like if I go to 69. Because I don't call it north-south because I don't know what that is. And I decide to, you know, do the reverse guillotine there, or usually I thread through either swim forward or swim around, and I'll go arm locks and kimuras, or I'll come here and I'll go chokes, and so many things are available there from north-south that are more than just the choke with the lat choke, you know, and grab your belly and sink back, which is nothing wrong with that at all. But it's going to open up other stuff. Is usually when you go like this around a person's neck, they go, ah. Yeah. And so then your arms right. And so it's good to get good at like snapping arm locks from 69 into you know, an acute angle towards the feet, you know, so that you get good at fucking hitting arm locks from that position.
Okay.
Because that's just another position. Otherwise, they just go in there and throttle them.
From the top?
Yes.
Like a joke.
No, I just throttle them.
Homer Simpson them real quick.
I don't close my hand like this.
Yeah.
You don't do this. You just go.
Yeah. Freaking pull a Wagner, right? Like right on
Homer
the.
Simpson joke.
It's like I just go, you fucking motherfucker, and grab back the back of their head and then throttle them right there, you know. But you know, there's so much opportunity there in 69, and it's always a good place to transition and take and demoralize them and take another side control. You know,
I wonder why it's hard to get my videos. Sometimes, like if I do ads, they don't get like sometimes I just can't run an ad for a video or something. And then I'm here, like when I hear it back and we say things like demoralize and just choke them, you know, the word like, you know, Google the algorithm, like pick up on the words. And sometimes it blocks a video from being advertised or promoted. And I'm hearing now, like, we're saying things like choked and demoralized. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to advertise this video. I'm going to like, I have to click the button that makes them like, you have to like ask them to review it a second time. Like, no, review it again.
Now you know why I'm not working for the UFC.
All right, Yoshi, you got this question. You forwarded this to me. You said Philip Morgan sent you this. He said, hi, Yoshi and Kurt. Any tips on not gassing out when grappling? Many thanks.
Yeah.
Train more.
Train. It's like pushing yourself. Like, I tell people, you don't got to be fast, you don't got to be strong, but just don't stop moving. And that's that little thing. Like, we can just
move when it's time to move,
and just like build up that cardio. Like, rolling cardio is like it's like a muscle. It's like it needs to be built up. And
yeah.
Like, I think like just telling someone just don't stop moving and try to always progress position into a different position. Try not to be stagnant is a good way to not gas out.
So right now we're watching Andre Galvão versus this other guy, and it's the obvious sauciness, the sauciness.
Oh, yeah.
He puppy.
That was they were the first gym that got killed with all those accusations back just even in the last few years. You know, you can't walk around like this where you can't even touch your butt, you know?
No, it's impossible.
Right, yeah. That sucks.
Did you notice the puppy?
Yes, I did notice the puppy. Did you get the puppy? Did we cut to the puppy?
Thought it was like that gorilla thing, you know, where the gorilla passes by and nobody sees it.
After I had the heart attack, I like that. I had a lot of problems with cats. It was just really hard. I would just feel my heart start to. Maybe I was more conscious about it. Did something change in me? My heart would just go from 0 to 60 so fast. And I used to tell people, I've trained no gi and no gi, but it's why I loved gi, because I felt like I can control the position a little bit more. I can hold somebody down, hold in their gi, and let myself get my breath. And my first coach, who was probably like 5'8", 265, law enforcement guy, like freaking like built like a fucking like a linebacker, like a little tiny guy. He taught me something that he did, which was like a little bit of Lamaze breathing if I really got tired. So just like just that part, not like, whatever Lamaze is beyond that. Just do that if you feel yourself. And I feel like I can get my breathing down or my heart rate down pretty quickly.
But that's that whole thing is what you learn, like coming up, is like, that's the whole thing about your endurance is your breathing.
Yeah.
You know, is your breath control delegates your amount of rounds that you can go. I can go 10 10s if I want. I can go, 10 sixes, whatever's coming up, because I know how to breathe during the round, and I know I got 30 seconds to tie my belt and fucking close my gi and move to my next partner and everything like that. And by then I should be back to 0, and then I only move when it's time to move, right? And if there's a scramble, I scramble, and then it scrambles until it stops, and then I stop it.
Do you guys
feel that like they stop breathing, like they just hold their breath, and it's like that's one way you're gonna gas yourself out a lot, or they just put too much oomph into it. It's like it's not about so much power. It's not so much about power. It's about technique and like movement and fluidity. So it's like those two things, especially if they're moving with a lot of power and they're holding their breath, it's just like, yeah, for sure you're going to gas out.
No, for sure.
I've got my own question for both of you, going back to when you guys started to get super popular and let's use the word famous for the videos that you guys put out. Kurt, did people start like rolling with you different? Did you have people like go a little harder? They want to take you out kind of attitude?
Of course, they'd come into town and they'd go, well, let's train with Kurt and let's see if I can kill Kurt.
See if this guy's for real. Let's see if he's,
Yeah. But then at that time I was always on my game. I was always good.
How about you, Yoshi? I mean, it's
not so much like at my like home academy, but like when I travel now, like fuck, bro, I travel a lot. I like to visit a lot of gyms. Whenever I go on vacation, I bring a gi. Like I'm gonna be going to New Orleans soon with like a friend's trip, but I'm like told my friends like straight up like there's gonna be a couple days where I'll leave you guys for a few hours because there's no way I'm not gonna go train. And I always like visiting new academies. It's like a tourist thing for me. So it's like
you're right, Kurt.
But before the videos, I was just like, oh, this guy from San Francisco. But now that I'm like not even Yoshi anymore, I'm just like the move of the day guy. It's just like a notch on their belt. So like they come at me full clip, which I like because like I'm there for the fight. So bring it on. Like I kind of enjoy that part now, though.
Yeah. But just by the way, I don't know if you guys
remember, that's just like that's something that you have to expect. So
yeah.
Once like I already was used to it being at my home gym all the time, and then when I went to seminars, I would train with people just how they want to train with me. So
yeah,
I
had a guy. I stopped with the podcast. I stopped, and I don't hide it, but I just stopped like saying where I trained. And I know that I consciously did it after we had a guy come to the gym. And he like we always do a flow roll, and I'm rolling with this guy, and he just wanted to do you know how to flow? Like I stopped him. I'm like, we flow the first one Saturday morning. Just woke up. We didn't do any drills that day. It was just like walk in. You better be warmed up. Stretch on your own. But we went right into a roll, and he just went crazy. And I'm like, does this guy? And I'm not nearly as popular as you. The podcast, I should say. We're getting there. Like people are starting to know who we are. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, did this asshole show up to just like be a dick? And maybe I'm giving myself too much credit, but then I stopped like shouting out the gym all the time. I just say, yeah, training out of South Florida. Because I'm like, is that going to happen? I'm like, it's like people just going to show up to be a dick to see if this asshole from Jiu-Jitsu Dummies knows any Jiu-Jitsu, or is he, talking out of his ass? But it's one of the reasons I named it Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. I'm like, I don't know it all, man. I'm here I want to talk to people that do know way more than me. And just like on the mat, I want to learn from a higher belt. I wanted to learn from other people. Like, what the fuck are you talking to us for? You guys were a lot of fun, man. I appreciate you. Let's go into we got a couple more questions. If you got a little more time, right? We said we'd stop around 9. Okay, cool. Okay, we have. Let's see. So, what's up, Rockstar? Do you know who that is? I only know the handles. That is Orion Morishig. You know who he is? Okay, good. How do you say his name? Ryan what? Morishige. Okay, good. Because I butchered it. How has this is for Yoshi? How has judo helped your jiu-jitsu? And how had jiu-jitsu? How has judo helped your jiu-jitsu? And how has jiu-jitsu helped your judo?
Oh, it's a yin and yang, man. I'll tell you this. I won most of my judo tournaments using jiu-jitsu, and I won most of my jiu-jitsu tournaments because, like, I started the match off using judo. And it's just, like, they both helped me more in the opposite sport. It's pretty crazy. Like, you can win a judo match by throwing them flat on their back, but you can also win by pinning or choking them or arm locking them.
Okay.
Most of my fights didn't. It's called ippon when you throw them flat on their back and you just win the fight. I didn't win mostly by ippon. I won mostly by pins, chokes, and arm locks. So, like, I would just grind him to the ground, and then just initiate what they call newaza, which is pretty much like just groundwork jiu-jitsu. And then in jiu-jitsu, when growing up, a lot of guys didn't work on their takedowns at all. Like, I think it's more prevalent to work on takedowns nowadays, but back then, people didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Mm-hmm. And I just grab him and fling him across the mat. There was one guy, I knocked his wind out, and he was trying to tap, because just from, like, it was like 10 seconds into the match, I just fucking Haraya Goshin him, and you just hear and it's just fucking, yeah. I think people like people are like more aware nowadays, but back then it was just like, fuck, dude, you could just fucking fling someone, they wouldn't know what the fuck happened to them.
Did you? So I know that in the very small amount of competing that I did in a very short amount of time, I was trying to like compete at very least once at every belt, and then I had the heart attack at purple and I stopped. But we would see like that like square patch on the back of somebody's, you know, like you knew it was like a judo patch. And you're like, fuck, you know?
It says USA.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Fuck yeah, you put those on your back just to fucking intimidate.
Be like that, and you better be pulling guard unless you know judo.
Another one that says Iowa Wrestling, like something that
yeah.
like Judo USA and fucking Iowa Wrestling or some Ivy League fucking wrestling. You walk out there, the guys are already like, fuck, I can't stand up with this guy. I'm gonna have to jump the guard.
And it was great because, like, as a judo guy, if they know you're a judo guy, they're gonna pull guard. And a heavyweight pulling guard on you, for me, there's nothing better you could ask for. That's like, man, you're gonna bring me dinner too after this, or what? Like,
I know, like the wrestlers would stand out. Like wrestlers would always be like in just like a regular T-shirt, like it's like a baggy T-shirt, no rash guard, some like it would be like Iowa State like on their shorts. And you're like, and that was just as bad as those were like the two for a jiu-jitsu guy. It's just like, oh fuck, this is gonna be hard today. This is gonna be rough. But,
yeah, and then the guy comes out and he's fucking dragging his knuckles on the floor. And he's fucking starting to fucking club your head and shit and like start moving all weird.
So we've got another one. We have Chrissy Aboy. Let me see what her full name is. Christian. Do you know what Christian Aboy? I'm reading the handle, so that probably got that butchered too. So I like the question. I'm going to kind of elaborate on their question. So the original, what advice would you give a white belt who aspires to become a black belt one day? And I just kind of like, what is that secret? Is there a secret? You know, we're looking at two black belts here at two different points in their career. You know, let's start with Kurt. What would you tell somebody who's just getting on the mat today?
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, if you do 2 times a week, 3 times a week, whatever you can do, 2-3 times a week would be, I would say, really kind of nice. You know, if you weren't a gym monkey like me, you know, I was there every day, all day, and did work. So I would do construction, and I'd be there from fucking 5 until 10 at night, or I'd be there from fucking 9 in the morning doing privates, and then the AM class and the 11 a.m. class, and then having a lunch break or going back to work and then coming back. You know, I was there every day, all day. But I mean, if you can do 2-3 times a week and just think about it, it's not how long the class is how much you get out of it, right? So if I go there and I get there an hour early and I drill for an hour and then I do class and then I train and then I drill another half hour, 45 minutes before, and then I go home, man, that's a good day. You know what I'm saying? And so if I can put 2-3 days like that a week, you know, you'd be a black belt someday.
How about you, Yoshi? What's your advice to a newbie? And I kind of I don't like, I should say this. Let me just personally, you know, once we're doing it for a while, it's like kind of I get the question is like he wants to stay with it, but like you're not doing this to get the black belt, right? You shouldn't be thinking I want to be a black belt, you know. Put me on the 5-year plan, right? That's not what this is about. So I kind of like want to add that piece in.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say too, it's like I feel like people look at it when they're a white belt and it's so distant, it seems like so far away that looks like the end goal. That looks like it's mission accomplished. But black belt is not mission accomplished. Black belt is not the finish line. That's the beginning. It's really the beginning. So it's like it might not seem like a beginning as a white belt. Like, dang, I'm gonna be so good and it's gonna be like all great, but it's like it's a totally new beginning of jiu-jitsu when you hit your black belt.
Would you agree with this statement? Like, I know for me, the longer I do this, the more I realize, the shit, like how much shit I don't know. And again, there is no finish line. There is never a finish line.
And as a martial artist in general, I think that, when you start off and you're just dabbling in martial arts, it's like you look for it in other things, not the thing itself. And I like philosophy, we call that extrinsically. We look for things in extrinsic ways. Like, what if I work out, I'll get muscles, or if I'll get the girls, or I'll get the popularity, I'll be the cool guy. But when you start doing it, but when you start doing it for a while, you learn to do it for the thing itself. It's not for some extrinsic thing. It starts turning intrinsic, and you start doing it because you love the martial art, because you love jiu-jitsu. And I think that's what the beauty about it is. But also, like, I would also give them the advice of, like, have fun. It's like, it's a major part is having fun. And like I said earlier, building community. And if you're not part of a community that's helping you have fun, like, you should be excited to go to jiu-jitsu. You should be excited to get onto the mats. Like, it should be a fun experience. And that's going to help you get to that end goal that you're thinking about. Even though it's not a real end goal. You'll figure that. I know it seems like you're not going to know that now, but when you get there, you'll realize, it wasn't an end goal.
Have you guys ever experienced, what's the wording? Imposter syndrome as it relates to your jiu-jitsu? Have you felt that? Talk to me about that, Yoshi. You're nodding.
Long. Oh, so like,
what do you say?
He's like, what is that? So, I mean, I got silver hair. I love jiu-jitsu, and I'm like in a doctorate program with all these super smart intellectuals. Like, I feel like I got imposter syndrome there. I also feel like sometimes even when jiu-jitsu, like, I feel like some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail. And the days you're the nail, you're like, do I even fucking know jiu-jitsu? I've been doing it for 15 years. And it's like, do I even fucking know what I'm doing? Like, some days you just get like your shit kicked in and you're just like, fuck, what do I even know what I'm doing on the mat? So it's like, yeah, for sure you're going to have those, but it's going to be ebbs and flows. If every day is great, then, you're not going to really appreciate it. So it's good to have those good days and bad days. Is how you respond to it, I feel like.
How about you, Kurt? Did you ever feel like as you came up in the ranks, like, what the fuck am I doing?
It's impossible to have great days every day. That's just like, you can't even expect that. You know what I'm saying? Like, some days, like he was saying, you're the hammer, and some days you're the nail. But, some days you can't fucking do anything right. And some days it's longer than days. It's fucking weeks. And you're like, fuck, I can't do anything fucking right for these fucking past 3 weeks. And then finally it starts to evolve again and your game goes back up. And so, like, you have to be ready for these high peaks and really low valleys. And sometimes the low valley fucking runs for a while.
Yeah.
Before you climb out of it.
When I started this podcast, I had a couple of guys that had just become blue belts. And it was funny. They would be like, oh, we're getting some, like, they would talk about not feeling like they were ready for a blue belt or ready for the purple, or they got a couple of stripes. And I used to talk them off the ledge all the time. I used to be like, guys, like, when you got your blue belt, it's not everything at blue belt. You are now going to be, like, allowed to learn or taught the things that you need to complete this belt, right? And now when, I was told I would have gotten my brown belt before COVID, blew out my knee, and then COVID. I blew out at the day before, a Sunday, a training day, the day before I was going to quarantine from work officially, like that March, I blew out my knee. So that July I would have had my brown belt. So it went basically like 2 years, came back, trained for a little bit, and then maybe I think got it after 6 months or a year of getting back on the mat. And then all of a sudden I walk in one day and I get 3 stripes. Because we don't normally do stripes. So we had a new coach come in. I guess he convinced our professor I think you should do stripes, even for the adults. It helps with motivation. And I agree with that. But I just came to, I had 1 stripe on my purple belt forever, and then I got my, my brown. So it's like, yeah, well, whatever. And then I got the 3 stripes, and then it really became real. And it's the first time in jiu-jitsu that I experienced the imposter syndrome, and maybe more of like, holy shit, the black belt's close. What the fuck do I know? What it like? But what I did was I started to weightlift more and train more. I was just like, this, yeah, I want to earn it. I want to know that when I do get it, that people be like, yeah, that Milton, man, he's training all the time. He's working for, forget about how good my jiu-jitsu. I'm on the mat trying to get better. And if I'm not on the mat, I'm trying to lift. And I think it's good for recovery, by the way, as well. So, but I go through it. I'm less like, fuck. And some people be like, you know, when people say, man, black belt's right around the corner, you can get it any day now. And I'm like, yeah, it's, again, I'm having those feelings right now. So like, I like to ask that question of different people, because I was the guy talking people off the ledge, and now I'm somebody that's just like, I'm feeling it. I didn't get it back then, and now I'm getting it. As it relates to jiu-jitsu, I'm getting it. I felt that way outside of that. I've owned businesses, and I'd be like, who the fuck am I? I'm business. I'm paying people. I'm your source of income. Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Really? Why are you working for me? But yeah, it's recently I've had that going through my mind as it relates to jiu-jitsu. But I just got to keep on. Like Kurt said before, just trying to get back out there and stay on the mats. And sometimes I feel like my jiu-jitsu shit. And Yoshi, what you said, sometimes I'm like, do I even know? If if I don't go to jiu-jitsu for a couple of days, and I'm just like, man, I forgot. Or this is better when Miguel, Mike, my co, you guys have both met Miguel, I think. He's at schools where they use like the John Danaher, Ashigarami, like they use all of, like, they try to use the traditional words. Not my school. My school is just like, the other day my coach named something the double whopper.
The double whopper?
The double whopper. I'm like, it's basically what Gordon Ryan does, right? Yeah, but that's the thing, is like, we don't use, again, he's a cyborg black belt. He knows his shit. He's fucking good. And he just comes up with these random names. It's a little bit more because he comes up with these clever names for the kids class. And then we have so many parents that train and are there to watch their kids. We have a very, like, family-oriented school. Like, if your kid is on the mat and you come and hang out, they're going to get you on the mat. Like, we have a huge female presence. Sometimes there's more women there than men. And so the other day he called something the double whopper, which is basically like mounted, and you got both of your arms, and you're basically almost got, like, I've got both your arms over your face, and I'm going to sit
straight jacket.
I got high mount.
High mount. See, high mount. You called it a straight jacket. He named it the double whopper. So, like, sometimes I'm listening to, like, sometimes I'm talking to people and I'm like, I don't know what explain the move. Don't just tell me the name, because my school, we just don't use those names. It's just, we have all these weird different names that I know other schools don't have.
Thing about, like, when you go to fucking tournaments and the other coach is coaching, he's going, do the fucking Tour de France. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck is he going to do to my guy?
I think that's like a big Eddie Bravo thing, right? That was like the 10th Planet guys, right? He wanted to name every position so that he could yell them out during UFC fights, right? And be like, and they would understand it and the other guy wouldn't know. But not just the move, but the position, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So
like Lockdown, I just started getting into the Vaporizer by Eddie Bravo, which is like a fucking, like, heel hook, ankle lock, knee crank, calf slicer all in one. Definitely look it up.
Are you like
fucking love that
leg
shit.
over that, like leg over your shoulder in the lockdown?
You did it to Hoyler Gracie. Yeah, that's the one he did to Hoyler Gracie in the second fight. You got lockdown, you throw him over, and then you kind of do like an invert, like you do a forward roll. And then the leg is, you triangle your legs, and that fucking leg is just dangling right there. And you just grab the toes.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It was pretty gnarly.
So, what is Eddie called? So my coach calls that when I have the lockdown and the guy's leg over my shoulder.
Stoner control.
From wrestling, that they call that the banana split. Right? Right?
It could be. It could be.
My coach calls it the pee-pee splitter. So again, if you're throwing out names in my, like,
I thought you was about to say he calls it the Big Mac. I was like, well, you got a lot of different crazy names, bro.
He calls it the pee-pee splitter. The electric chair, right? Eddie calls it the electric chair, right? So, and then the electric chair sweep and what have you. But my coach just always called it I called it, when I was doing it, I just called it the banana split. I wrestled a little bit. I knew the move, and then he was calling it the pee-pee splitter. I'm like, so then in my school, like half the guys call it banana split, half the guys call it the pee-pee splitter, and then people that are a little bit more advanced know that it's Eddie's electric chair. So
imagine coaching someone and being like, pee-pee splitter.
Wait a minute.
I've got to be honest. It's probably been my coach has probably yelled that out at a competition. My coach has probably yelled pee-pee splitter at a competition. I'm pretty sure.
My guy just grabs his nuts like, no, you will not rip my pee-pee.
I go into it. I call it a calf slicer sweep.
A calf. Okay.
I mean, the way I got it taught, like I'll make him get his leg on top of my shoulder, but at the same time, then I bring his foot through and I fucking lock it in a lockdown with his leg stuck in a fucking calf slicer, and I can sweep with the calf slicer because you have to follow your leg. I got it from Hal. Go figure.
All right, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to move to. I want to ask this question because not only I think is it an interesting question, but one of our listeners, Roberto Santiago, is actually the guy. He always used to be like, you got to get Kurt. He loves you, Kurt. So he just like followed you, loves you. He's older guy like me. I think he's 50 plus. Loves your move of the week, and was always like, I know I've met him. He's local. I've met him. I've had his coaches on, and now I'm like friends with his coaches and stuff like that. And he was always just like, gotta have Kurt on. And I'm like, fine. I'm like, all right. I go, Kurt Osiander isn't going to answer my fucking Instagram message to come on the show. And you did. Well, you
I don't have people that do it for me.
Yeah. No, but like a guy, I was like, it's Kurt you're Kurt Osiander. You are, it's just like, is he really going to be like, yeah, let me do your podcast, buddy?
There's no management team back here. I'm positive.
So, shout out to Roberto for. I mean, I guess did we have Yoshi on? We had Kurt on first, or Yoshi? Do you remember?
I think you had Kurt on first.
I think we had Kurt on first, and we had Yoshi now. Okay, obviously back together. So
and I have an awesome coffee cup.
Yeah,
yeah. Did you both get one right? I sent you one, Yoshi. Awesome, cool.
And it's a big coffee cup. It's good.
I sent you guys the big ones. So I'm going to do a long story short here. Roberto's is about to have some shoulder surgery, and he knows he's going to be out. And ultimately, his question was,
get his labrum.
Yeah. So let me read it. So it said, Kurt, you recently underwent hip replacement surgery and other procedures. And by the way, he's a news guy. He's written a book. He helped get us into the Sun Sentinel. He knows lots of reporters and things like that. Awesome dude, super supportive. We love him.
Cool.
So he says, next month I have to get my right shoulder replaced. It's arthritic, bone on bone with spurs, and I cannot lift my arm without pain. I have that problem too, I think. Yes, I got a second opinion from another highly respected orthopedic surgeon. I know the rest of the physical therapy is key to recovery, but what advice would you have for a 59-year-old grappler like me to safely return to the mats and train? The second part of the question is, what would I... Well, let's answer the first part. Let's answer that. What would a guy his age do to safely return? What's that?
I'll let you know when I get there.
All right, yeah, you're there.
And I'm still like healing up, and it's like been like, like 6 months for one and like 3 months for the other and stuff like that. So I'm just hoping that they don't fall off, and I'm just now I'm like using the cane a lot less. And so, and then I teach as much as possible, and I try to move as natural as possible as I know the moves, like I know them, correctly and totally technically sound.
So
like an OC person.
Part of his question is like, hey, he's like, what should I tell my professor and fellow students? And I was talking to Bo about this before, and I'm just like,
he has to now when he goes back and he does all his rehab and stuff, he has to only train with really good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
People he trusts.
Yeah.
Only really good guys. Nobody, no crude, beast that will do unless he wants to do that and then do a straight game to them and like dominate them and control the whole mechanism, right? But otherwise, he should only train with really good guys, because really good guys know how to let you go. They know when you are stressed and when to let you go, and stuff like that. So that's what I would. I love
when like a white belt or a blue belt is like, "Hey man, my shoulder hurts." So then we'll get ready to roll, and I'll be like, "Which shoulder was it?" And then like I'll pretend I'm gonna just only go after that shoulder, and then like,
what a dick.
And I'm like, no, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding.
What shoulder was that?
Yeah.
All right, then. Let's go.
So, okay, we're gonna do our. We've done this with you both, but let's get some answers. This is called
the drill down.
It's our sound effects.
I liked it.
So these questions are for both of you, each one. We've got about 6 or 7 questions here. So, gi or no gi? What's your preference? We'll go left to right. Kurt?
I like them both.
Yeah. No preference?
Well, I'm really good at both of them, so I don't care.
Yoshi, you're a gi guy, right?
I'm a gi guy. I'm a gi guy. I do train no gi when I have to, but if I had a choice, I'd be in pajamas all day.
Takedown or pull guard?
Takedown.
Takedown. Now, this is a newer one. I don't think we had this when we interviewed you guys last time. Music during rolling, yes or no?
Sure. It just can't be really high volume. Otherwise, you can't hear the other people screaming.
What's your go-to, Kurt? What do you want if you're controlling the we'll call it the iPod?
I'll do like White Zombie, or I'll put on Korn, or I'll put on Pantera.
Yeah, non-violent music.
Or Slayer.
What about you, Yoshi? What's your go-to? You're controlling the dial.
I love EDM and West Coast hip hop, so one of those two.
Okay.
That's my thing.
I like that.
So shout out to everyone who raves.
Now, who are your? We'll go both of you. We talked about it a little before. How much do you guys watch? Do you watch jiu-jitsu? Not just like videos. Are you into watching competitions? You into watching the WNOs and the fight to wins. Even IBJJF competitions.
Yeah, I watch them like when they're on, and it's convenient.
You got any favorites? Who do you like to watch? Do you tune in for anybody specifically? Like this guy's fighting, I gotta see him.
I watched the Flow grappling one where Gordon Ryan dominated everyone, and then fucking
calls it.
Fucking smacked fucking Galvan around like he was a small bug. And
isn't it crazy? He makes you look like you don't even know jiu-jitsu.
But he's just doing such a tight, basic game of jiu-jitsu that's just really refined, and that's all it is. He's just he's moving very, 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 very tightly and very slow, and that's why the guy doesn't get away from him. And then when the guy does try to get away, he fucks himself up and goes into another fucked up place. I really like it. I think it's because Danaher is such a fucking stud, and that's all I've ever heard ever since I started jiu-jitsu is that Danaher was super technical. And then my buddy Nino Shambri came to the United States and then hung out there with Danaher, and he goes, "Kurt, do you know Danaher?" And I'm like, "No." And he's all, "Fuck, that guy is really good." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah."
You never trained with him back in the day?
No, I've never trained with him ever.
Oh, fuck.
I trained with Nino a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He always had him applaud of me.
To your point about the way that he he stays tight. My first coach used to tell me, he goes, it was simple, but he said, space is bad, right? When you're the attacker, space is bad. And I tell that to guys now when I train with them. They give you so much space. I'm like, what do you do? You need to, if I'm going to pull guard, you need to be tight on top of me, hold my legs. You should be in some type of control position. And I just remember that space is bad. For the attacker, space is bad. Space is great for me if I'm trying to get away from you and run for my life, right? So I think that's his thing. He gives you zero space. It's just like a wet. I think Miguel calls it the wet blanket attack. You know, he's literally like a freaking wet blanket. Just how do you get this guy off of you? He makes
his grips and his weight distribution. I think his weight placement is like something that you really can't like really feel or see on camera that well, but like it's just always in the perfect place.
You can tell that the guy is immobilized. You can tell.
It's crazy, man.
Crazy.
Let's go to ultimate goal. Kurt, what is your ultimate goal in the world of jiu-jitsu? I like to add in, like, what would your legacy be? What do you want your legacy to be?
That I was a good teacher, pretty good competitor, cool person. That's about it. You know, what else do you want? I don't want millions of dollars.
Funny motherfucker.
Driveway, none of that stuff.
Yoshi, tell him how good of a teacher he was.
Oh man, amazing!
Is not was. I'm sorry. Is.
I use this shit all the time, like all the time. All of his fucked up names: Trash Compactor, Animal Planet, Inquisition.
There you go.
I got a bunch of code names too.
Like, bro, I hit all these moves all the time, still today. You know, like all the time. Amazing.
That's
amazing.
Awesome. That's awesome. And Yoshi, I know you're. I think both of you, your stuff is amazing. I've watched it since I started training. Ultimate goal, Yoshi. You have this. That you find yourself in a strange place that I don't necessarily think you planned to be in. Like your shit just started to take off. I don't know if there was a method to your madness. You started to put out these videos. What do you
short-term goals? Yeah. I would love to travel more. I've never done a seminar ever yet, so that would be like a milestone to like do a seminar. I've never done one yet. Just travel more, spread jiu-jitsu, and like ultimate goal, just like build up the next generation, give back to the community. I'm doing that with the University of San Francisco students. We got one black belt getting ready for nationals, and it's just like I want to build these kids up and see them take over the world. You got to add that little for seminars, contact me, email, and it'll right, you're not telling people like do you tell people, hey, I'm available for seminars? You're certainly not. I don't think you're putting it out on your social media. Yeah. I'm available for seminars. Kurt's available for seminars. Get at us. Are you guys available for seminars together? That would be killer. Could be possible. Yeah. You got to put it out there. I tell people, I own a marketing company. That's my day job. And I'm like, if you're not telling people that it's available, you might get somebody to be like, hey, are you available? But they'll see it on your social media and go, oh shit, oh really? Let me hit them with that email. Add a link tree, add all your shit, all that. You can either be close to the fire or you can make the fire. There you go. I like that. Right. I like that. So the big one again. I know some of these questions we actually last time, but if people are just listening to this episode and didn't listen to the previous, which they should go back and find both of your individual episodes. The big question that we like to ask, and it's caused a lot of controversy here amongst our friends. We think it's kind of funny. Kurt, do you wash your jiu-jitsu belt? No. Period. You do not wash your jiu-jitsu belt. Don't wash the Mercer. The Mercer out of the jiu-jitsu belt. Okay. Now we know why you got Mercer. You can take it and you can put it in a little hand wipe if you need to wipe it off. You get a little squeamish. Whatever. No, I never washed any of my belts. I wash myself. I wash my gi like fucking every time I train and 3 times a day if I can. Yeah. Yoshi. Not all the time. If it's really stinky and I let it sit on my wet gi and it's in the laundry room, maybe once every few months, but very rare. Okay. No. But if it is stinky, it will take your secret powers away. I will watch that shit. Maybe that's why I suck. All right, guys. You guys, any shout outs that you want to give? Any sponsors you want to, thank? This is your time. Story Roll Kimonos. There you go. Yeah. Shout out to Kurt, Half Gracie, all the people, Mike Morrell, Kevin O, all my instructors. I appreciate and love you all. Very cool. All right, guys, don't hang up. I'm going to come take a picture. We do the picture, so we do some promo stuff. Well, just give me like 2 minutes. Yeah, do wwhatever you got, whatever you want to bring on. But thank you, guys. We really appreciate you doing this, man. Oh, shit. Just hold that in the background.
But again, I really appreciate you guys doing this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you reaching out. Look, you guys are always welcome here. Let's do it again. And as always, if you're ever in South Florida, please come in. We do it, do it in the studio. It's a different vibe, and it'd be cool to have you guys down here if you're ever down this way. Okay? All right, hang on a second. Thank you, guys.
Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box, and give them a follow on Instagram at TheBJJBox. Neutral Zone is combat family owned, so they know you need to keep yourself and your equipment clean. They created Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays for just that purpose. Neutral Zone products are formulated to reduce the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Whatever's making you sweat, weight training, rolling on the mats, yard work, or just working around the house, Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays can make you feel and smell refreshed. Use code JJD to get 15% off your online order at neutralzoneclean.com. While you're there, sign up for their newsletter to receive the latest info and updates on product launches like their new shower gel and soap bar coming soon. Are you Neutral Zone Clean? Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
All right, man. Very cool. Thank you again to Kurt and Yoshi. Pretty awesome.
They're they're good together.
Yeah, we were just saying we kind of took a tiny break there, and we said there's a very cool dynamic between the two of them.
Coach, student, father, son, and then there's this equal friend thing going on.
Yeah.
It's just super cool.
Yeah,
between them.
I think
very good energy.
We just said it, but I think it'd be cool to see them doing some seminars together.
Hell yeah!
A little old school, new school.
And they should do videos. They should do some videos together.
They've been doing videos. They put out a couple.
They just have a good energy together.
Absolutely.
Really nice.
So let's shout out to Miguel. I hope he's feeling better, and hopefully he'll be back next week.
Yeah, just pull that damn tooth.
Yeah. A lot of teeth issues lately.
Okay.
Check us out for all the ways to watch, listen, and support at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Our YouTube and TikTok are at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Podcast. I'm Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram.
At BADWERKS.
All right. Very cool, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening. Peace, love, jiu-jitsu, baby. Os. You almost said os before we were supposed to say os, didn't you? I almost did, too. I'm like, wait, peace, love, jiu-jitsu. Take care, everybody. Thank you.